Dallas Cowboys coverage. Normally you guys see me wearing my Cowboys gear, but I have my Mavs stuff on. Just finished watching the Mavericks game and Dirk Nowitzki's jersey retirement. So before I get into all the Cowboy stuff, just wanted to take a quick moment just to shout out to Dirk Nowitzki. Just, an incredible career. It was an awesome ceremony to watch. Just everything he's meant for this, not only the Mavs organization, but the entire city of Dallas and just all of Dallas sports. And just the community, everything he's done, just wanted to just give him a shout out. It was really a great game. The Mavericks played incredibly, shut down the Warriors, a huge win, but just really a great speech, great all-around ceremony for Dirk Nowitzki. His number will forever hang up there in the rafters. He'll be getting that really cool statue. You guys will have to check out how that looks. It looked really nice. So, just shout out to Dirk Nowitzki. Type Dirk in the comments, let me know if you guys saw the game, saw the ceremony, what you thought about it. I thought it was really, really cool. Just wanted to show my support, wore my Mavs gear for this video. But, on a less positive note, I got to talk about the Cowboys game. It was just a brutal loss against the Arizona Cardinals. Just wasn't a good game. We've seen the Cowboys be really up and down lately. I think, we can all agree on that. After an incredible game last week against Washington, I think we were all feeling pretty good. I was on cloud nine with the team. Just, they looked incredible all game. I mean, winning, 56, I think, to 10 or something? I'm trying to remember the exact score, but I think Cowboys put up 56 points, and they could have put up more. That was almost all in the first half, and we were all feeling incredible. The Cowboys were hitting offensively, defensively, special teams. That's what I was talking about, 3 aspects of the game. And in this game, it didn't happen. It didn't happen on any of the 3 aspects, I'd argue. Special teams was a problem. Greg missed another kick. I mean, the Cowboys keep talking about how much confidence they have in him, and I don't agree. I mean, I am not confident in Greg Zuerlein. I'm not a huge Greg hater, like, I think a lot of us are, but I just don't understand how you can ignore that he is struggling. He is not playing well, and he is hurting the team. A quote from Tom Downey. He mentioned how the Cowboys in 3 losses against the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Raiders, and in this game have lost by a combined, I want to say he said, let me think for a minute. I think he said by a combined 6 or 7 points, something like that. And Greg, in his missed kicks, accounted for 14 points. 14 points that were not scored by the Cowboys. 14 points that were left on the board. And none of these losses can you pin it all on one player. And I'm not saying that, but that's 14 points that the Cowboys could have had. And they were left on the board, and that's unacceptable. And it's going to potentially be game costing. It has been throughout the season, and that's just something that I do not want to see in the playoffs. I know none of us, we don't want the Cowboys to lose a playoff game because of a missed kick or because of missed kicks throughout the game. It's something that just can't happen, and it's got to be addressed. Defensively, I don't think it was a bad performance. It was not the dominant defense that we've seen over the past few weeks. Of course, it was a better offense we went against, a much, much better quarterback, but I don't think they played badly. I think they still put up, I think they still played a good game. Not their best, for sure, but I think they did a good enough job to where we could have won that game. I think they contained Kyler Murray, for most of the game. But they were on the field constantly. We lost time of possession by a lot. And it was incredibly negative for the defense. They were going out there trying every time, but in the end, they didn't get the turnover they needed. I'll talk about that later. There was that dropped interception by Kirsch, only 1 sack in the game. It just wasn't the dominant defense that we've gotten used to seeing over the past few weeks. But again, I think I don't want to say they did their job, because I believe they also came up short, but they did enough. The offense, however, didn't. Dak Prescott, I don't think it was his worst game. It wasn't a bad game. He didn't have any interceptions. Did have that one huge fumble lost. But, I'm not trying to hate on Dak, and that's not who I am. I love Dak Prescott. I think he's an incredible player. And I think he has had a good season, but we've seen the, slump, if you will. I think me and a lot of people were saying it was over after last week. After an incredible performance, he won Offensive Player of the Week. But, and not to say he's still in a slump or that, but it just wasn't his best performance. Statistically, it looked fine. On paper, it looked great, but if you watched the game, you knew that there were throws he couldn't make that he missed. There were just opportunities he missed. Maybe some uncertainty at times. Indecisiveness. Just something we've seen over the past few weeks. Just not quite clicking. And I think that goes not just for Dak Prescott, but for the entire offense. It wasn't clicking. CeeDee Lamb got involved early, and then I didn't see him. I forgot he was on the field. Amari Cooper had the good touchdown pass or catch, but he just wasn't. He just wasn't present like we've been used to seeing him. This is his first season as a Cowboy. He's most likely not going to reach 1,000 yards, barring an incredible 200-yard performance. And then the running game was non-existent. It was the worst I've seen all year. Zeke had a measly, maybe 16 yards on the ground. Pollard didn't have a whole lot more. He had the big reception, but the ground game was non-existent. Dak Prescott was the leading rusher, I believe. And that's a problem because he only ran maybe 3 times. And, I believe in this offense. I believe in the running game. Zeke and Pollard both, have had success earlier this season. It wasn't there, and it hasn't been there for the last month plus now. It's got to fix. Even in the great performance last week, the running game wasn't there. It didn't need to be, but it wasn't. And this offense has become more and more one-dimensional as this year has gone on, and I think that falls on the coaching staff. Kellen Moore, I think, takes a lot of this blame. But it's a big issue. Even when the passing game is on point, the running game just has not lived up to really where it could be, and that's hurting not only the run game, but the passing game, the rest of the offense, because this team, Mike McCarthy talked about playing complementary football, and that's something they have not done. The offense has been very one-dimensional. The passing game has struggled because the run game has not been consistent, because the offensive line has not played at its best. It's a lot of factors coming into it, and this game was a result of that. This loss was a result of that. There was, like I said, all 3 dimensions, all 3 offense, defense, special teams were not at their best. They were not good, and that's why they lost. You could tell from the beginning of the game that was not a game that the Cowboys were most likely going to win. They really stepped it up later in the game, and they put themselves in a position to win. And I'll talk more about officiating towards the end of the video, but you can't put yourself in that position and expect to win. I think it was a great rally at the end. My player of the game is Cedrick Wilson. I think he was that spark. He caught them going, that huge trick play pass to Tony Pollard. He had a 2-point conversion. He had a touchdown as well. He's my player of the game, but just it wasn't enough. But seriously, shout out to Cedrick Wilson stepping up for Michael Gallup, who unfortunately we now know tore his ACL. He'll be gone for the rest of the year. And, just so unfortunate. I love Michael Gallup, and it's just so sad knowing that may have been his last game as a Dallas Cowboy. I'm not ready to say that he's gone or anything like that. There's still a chance he can come back, but his future very much up in the air. After that injury, I'm not sure if he's not going to be ready for the start of next season, I would guess. I can imagine that, the ACL tears are 10 to 12 month recovery most of the time. But just so unfortunate for him. He's just such a good guy. Plays his hardest all year, and in this contract season, just so unfortunate the injuries he's dealt with. I think the calf injury earlier in the season, I think it was mostly healed, but I think maybe that contributed to it. The weakness maybe still in his calf. We saw it with Kevin Durant a couple years ago in the NBA Finals. But if you guys remember, he had been dealing with a calf injury, and then he came back from it, and he tore his Achilles. I don't know if that, has any correlation. I know this was the ACL, not the Achilles, but just that calf, the kind of in-between, just maybe caused some weakness. There's really no way to say for sure. But just an incredible play by Gallup. If that was his last play, it was an incredible one, incredible catch. But just so sad to see his season end early, and, I just wish the best for him going forward. I hope he'll make a, full recovery. Prayers up to him and his family. Hopefully, he can come back stronger than ever, and I know he will. I just hope that it will be in a Cowboys uniform. But either way, I just wish him the best. Just wanted to hit that real quick, and along with some other injury updates, Blake Jarwin has a chance to come back next week. I hope that he can. Even if not next week, but just be ready for the playoffs. He's a great player for this team. He's a valuable player. Dalton Schultz has played very well, but a second option, this offense could use all the help it can get. So it'd be nice to see him back. Continuing with injuries, Tyron Smith we saw come back. Francis Bernard is going to be out for a few more weeks with the hamstring, but this team has gotten healthy at the right time. One more unfortunate note came out earlier today. Micah Parsons has tested positive for COVID-19, so he will most likely be out next game. As long as he's back for the playoffs, I'm okay. Just, again, it's a thing that all teams have to deal with. Unfortunate to have to miss him. Probably he'll be missing his first game of his career, unfortunately. Won't be able to break that rookie sack record, but as long as he's back for the playoffs, I'm happy, and I'll look forward to seeing him on the field again, because he, I think, was a good player last week, and I think even through every negative game this year, he's been a guy to step up. There hasn't been a single bad game out of him. There hasn't been a single, stock down game out of him. He's looked better and better. Every single week he's looked good. He's been a star. He's been a stud. And he's been, I think, the most consistent player all season. One of the best players on the entire team as a rookie. He'll win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think he'll get Defensive Player just because T.J. Watt and his incredible season. But he belongs in that conversation. And as a rookie, he's doing this. I can't wait to see what he can do further in his career. But, I just look forward to having him back soon. Hopefully he can make a full and speedy recovery, from COVID. We've seen it, the linebackers have been impacted. Gotta imagine that might have been where he picked it up. Luke Gifford, Francis Bernard, as well as Keanu Neal, who was activated off the COVID list today. All had COVID recently. Gotta imagine that linebacking room, close contact. It's just unfortunately something that not only the Cowboys but all NFL teams are having to deal with. So just hope he can recover, get back soon, and the defense will miss him though next week for sure. So let me know, your thoughts on the Cardinals game. I think it was definitely a disappointing performance, but the one thing that gives me, hope is just that even through a bad performance, they only lost by 3 points. It was an admirable comeback in the fourth quarter, and a comeback that was cut short by terrible officiating. DeMarcus Lawrence spoke about it. He forced that fumble, and it was a fumble. The replay was clear. That ball was out. Clear recovery by Oso Digizua. And it was a great play, and if that had been called correctly, the Cowboys would have had a chance to go down the field. A field goal to tie, touchdown to win it. The game would have been in our hands, and unfortunately, the referees, it didn't work out, and I don't want to dwell too much on it because the Cowboys shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. We can't leave it up to the refs. We can't leave it up to those calls like that. Even though the Cowboys, they were robbed, and making no mistake about it, it was a terrible call. And that's something that's got to be fixed because the officiating this year, it's been bad. It's been really bad. And that's, a new thing they implemented this year. New York is supposed to say, hey, you guys got that wrong. Let's fix it. They can do that even without a challenge. Even though we didn't have timeouts. It shouldn't be up to a team to use their challenge to correct a call like that should have been correct in the first place. And I understand that's a tough call. I didn't think it was a fumble at first either, but that's an issue. The league, the referees in New York, they got to step in. They got to get that call right because that single-handedly did change the game. And that's just something you hate to see, not only for the Cowboys, but just all across the league. Single calls like that, changing the outcomes of entire games. I'm not trying to be too hateful to referees because I know they're just people too. But the system is the issue, and that is something that should have been corrected. It should have been fixed, and that that missed call that everyone knew shouldn't have never been able to get away like that. And the game did get away because of it, and the Cowboys lost that game. Not single-handedly because of that, but that took away the Cowboys' opportunity to come back in that game, and that's just something that's hard for me, and just it's really frustrating. So thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Again, just shout out Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks. Great win tonight, but the Cowboys, let me know your score predictions next week. They'll be in Philadelphia, probably a cold weather game. Hopefully they can finish out the season right, because we most likely will be seeing this Arizona Cardinals team again at home on Wild Card Weekend. Maybe we can get some help and work our way back up there, but I think that we will be stuck with the 4th seed. Unfortunately, really was hoping for the 2nd or 3rd, even 1st, but we'll take what we can get. We'll get through it. We've seen this team now. We know what they did. They know what we did, and we just got to come back. We got to be the better team. We got to play to our full potential, all 3 sides of the ball: offense, defense, special teams. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When they're at their best, this team is a Super Bowl contender. When they're not, this team, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that's something that I do not want to be the case going into the playoffs. This team has time to turn this around. They need to have a good week next week. I don't want to see starters sitting, really. Zeke, Dak, they said they're going to play. And I appreciate that effort, because they need a win. Not just, for a win on the board, but for their confidence. And they need to get it right before this playoffs. The offense has to get it right. Dak Prescott has to get it right. He spoke about it. He's frustrated, and I can understand, he's tired of hearing this. And so he's got to go out there. He's got to prove everyone that he is the leader of this team. We know he is, but he's got to prove that he can carry this team to victory single-handedly, but as a group effort, and it's got to all come together if this team wants a chance to have success in the postseason. We can squeeze by, the regular season against mediocre teams. We got to beat the contenders. We got to play well against Super Bowl caliber teams. And this Arizona Cardinals team, they're a contender, and we didn't play well. We'll see them again most likely in 2 weeks. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know score predictions for next week. Let me know, your predictions for the playoffs. Feel free to, leave that in the comments. Like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This team, they can get it right. And if they do, this is a scary team. We just got to see it. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.